Welcome. So, this is a NAD T751. Absolutely love the sound on this thing. I had it for nearly 20 years now. It's broken a few times. I converted it from 110 volt to 230 when I moved over to Ireland. And a few repairs here and there. I just recently recapped everything. Now, the main issue was I was listening at one point and the front channels just completely stopped. Or I thought they'd completely stopped. Now, I set it aside for a while. I couldn't find anything. Didn't really have the time. I had a bunch of other receivers. So I just recently tried to get it back out and see what I could do with it. I realized that if you turned up the volume all the way max, I would get a bit of a signal. So I initially thought it was the front amplifier board, which is further in there. Now, I recapped everything there. All the voltages were correct on all the transformers, or sorry, not transformers, the transistors. So, with a little bit of input, from the service manual, as well as a very kind gentleman on DIY audio forums, also came up figuring out a little trick he suggested. Took a metal dental pick and now this here is the multi-channel board. It is a very low voltage, millivolts usually, and minor voltages 4.5 or so here and there, but nothing major, no amperage to really speak of dangerous. Probing certain sections here, you'd hear a bit of a buzz. Now that I was just probing over on the input to the amplifier board, those pins, there's no major voltage there, it's just the signal, so not very dangerous. Heard a buzz. As soon as I plugged this cable in that goes from the multi-channel board, which is basically the preamp section, as soon as I plugged that into the front amplifier board, the buzz from this end was almost inaudible. Very tiny click. So as soon as you unplug it and poke there, right where it plugs in, loud again. So the muting circuit, which I will show you here, we have the multi-channel board. We can find our system mute. This is going out from the multi-channel board to the main board. It says front mute here. Now all of these here are what we're concerned about. Now they all go to different transistors, which will be triggered by a positive voltage on the emitter side. So they have it neatly packaged in, those aren't the ones we're looking for actually, but they do have, they have it outlined in dotted lines, sorry. So since all of the channels are muted, I'm going to concentrate on one of the channels now, the front mute, which is number 7. Okay, that we can trace And we're going to follow that all the way over to this transistor right here. That is Q614. So just to test this capacitor here, we're going to short that. And that'll give us a direct path to ground without that capacitor in the way. And lo and behold, the sound turns on once I, at least to the front channels, once I short that capacitor. So we're getting positive voltage at this end of the transistor. That is turning on the circuit and causing the system to mute. So we're gonna have to test back. Bang, bang, bang. That fucker is tripped. Why? We don't know. We're gonna have to trace it. So the op amps for the front channel are up here anyway. This is the volume control chip right here. We have the inputs of the signal and the outputs of the signal, and the volume knob will increase the volume. Not a problem there. Alright, so down here where the main board comes into the multi-channel preamp board, this area here, we have a muting circuit. Part of it anyway. So this transistor here, at least for the front channels, that is receiving 4.5 volts. That closes up or trips this this transistor here and mutes the system. Now, it's not just this one, it's also the center channel, the surround channels, everything is muted. Everything. So, with your mute pins here, that travels from the main board to the keyboard, which is in the front of the unit where all your buttons and everything are. And there's also a microcontroller on that board. That is where the 4.5 volt signal is coming from, and I have no fucking clue why. That is the question now. Unfortunately, it has a custom firmware on it. Can't just replace the chip, but I'm trying to figure out how I can find out what is causing this chip, which is otherwise functional, to cause a mute signal from a few of the pins. I'll show you the circuit diagram and I'll show you the chip in just a moment.